Everybody, my name is Peter. Thanks for joining me at Our Worship Sound, where we're working to make worship keyboard technique and technology easier. I want to talk about smoother tempo changes in your worship set list. And this might be a little bit different type of video, maybe a little bit less formal, but just to kind of talk through some things I've been working through. I've been giving a lot more thought in planning worship sets around tempo and just making that a bigger consideration because what I've found is that if we have good changes based around tempo, it allows for more flow in worship. And certainly tempo isn't always what it's about, but it is an important consideration just towards staying in that flow that we want to create. So first of all, I think there are two reasons to think about this. One, if you're actually planning the songs, you want to give some consideration to tempo. And two, if you are more of like the music director or the band leader, and certainly a lot of times the keyboard player is that role, you want to be able to look at your set list and find and identify these different relationships to have different strategies of how you can make these song changes happen smoother and more naturally. So first of all, the most important thing is to know the BPM of all your song, all the beats per minute. So you want to be able to know exactly what the tempo is for each song. Okay, and we always play to a click. My band does. I find it to be a lot more freeing than sometimes ending up at the wrong tempo and having to speed up or slow down. I always want to know and be locked into the exact tempo. And so we always have the tempo on our song repertoire list. And so it makes it easier to plan around it. So if you don't know it, just take a metronome and go through each one of your songs and figure out what the ideal beats per minute for each one of your songs is. And as you do that, you can start to look for mathematical relationships between different songs. And here's some of the relationships. That's kind of what we're going to talk about in this one. So, and as we go through this, I'm going to be using Ableton Live and playing some loops just to kind of highlight the tempos, the feels for different songs. You don't have to use it, but I think it'll help to kind of clarify what I'm talking about. Obviously, the most smooth or the most natural transition from one song to the next is if they're going to be in the same tempo. So as we look at our planning sheet, I have these two songs that are both 72 beats per minute. So here's the loop for Build My Life, and the bridge goes, and I will put my trust in you alone, and I will not be shaken. Okay, and then as I start to make the transition toward Where You Are, I can bring in that loop. It's just the same tempo, so it's a really easy, natural transition to make. Of your unfailing love, no, I can't get enough. Okay, so that's a really easy one to look for. Just look for tempos that are the same. You don't want all your songs to be at the same tempo because then that'll get really one-dimensional in your worship set. But one song will flow really well into the other one if the tempos are the same. The second thing to look for is mathematical relationships where the next song is either half or double of the previous song. And certainly it's probably going to be more common to go from a fast song to one that's half of its tempo. But here's a transition that we actually did a few weeks ago, and it worked really well. This is going from Forever, which has been done by different people, but Carrie Joe being one of them. We sing hallelujah. We sing hallelujah, we sing hallelujah, the Lamb has overcome. So that's 73 beats per minute in 4/4 time, and double 73 is 146, which is exactly the tempo that we need for this next song, which is Glorious by B.J. Putnam. And glorious. I'm kind of gradually changing the feel. Right now it's still in a slow feel, but I'm going to start to speed it up. Yes. Make it louder. Jesus, we shout your name. Jesus, we make your praise glorious. You are glorious. So going to double the tempo, it actually worked really well, and people were able to jump right in with the next songs. We made that transition into the faster one. So look for those relationships that are half or double on the tempo. Another thing to look for is if your songs are the same tempo but a different meter, because then it makes for a smooth flow but a different feel. So let's go back to 4/4, 73 beats per minute. 1, 2, 3, 4, and we'll make this change. 2, 3, 4, 3, and we're gonna go to 6/8.
Oh, I've heard 1,000 stories of what
So this is in 6/8 now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3. So it's the same tempo. Again, a really smooth transition. It's just a different feel. So it does get a different style with keeping the same tempo as before. So look for those relationships as well. And finally, as far as making good transitions that are based around tempo, I want to say that if there's not a clear relationship between tempo and something is different enough that you can't make it, flow, don't try to make it flow. Don't force the issue. So don't try to go from 1, 2, 3, 4 to 1, 2, 3. What I would recommend instead is to go ahead and make a break. Play something out of time. So we kind of wipe the slate clean a little bit as far as what our tempo goes, and then we can bring in our new tempo. So this song is about 10 clicks faster, but it doesn't feel rushed because I kind of it just kind of started fresh with the new song, and we weren't really basing it on the previous tempo as much. So if it's different enough that you can't make it flow, don't force it and just make a clean break. Play something out of time and then allow that to happen. So hope that gives you some good strategies. Again, as I've planned some tempo change or planned songs and keeping tempo is maybe a little bit stronger consideration than I have in the past. It's made for really good flow in our worship set list, and it's been really important. I think it's been impactful. So try it out, see what you think, and let me know if you have any questions. Be sure to click subscribe for notifications on future videos as they become available, and leave a comment if you have a question or something to add. Thanks a lot, everybody. We'll see you soon.